All right, for example 2, we have this graph drawn. We have this figure A, B, C, D. We're forming a reflection, and we've had these reflection rules, translation rules. Now this is rotation. I said reflection, but all these rules and the way they're written, and you need to know what they mean. So notice the reflection rule looks like this. We're going to use the big R for reflection, so little tiny r means rotation. So if you see a little r, we're rotating. It tells you what angle you're going towards. And notice 90 degrees positive, this is negative 180, so this one's going counterclockwise, this one's going clockwise. And then this other thing tells you what the center of rotation is. So in this case, O is the origin. All right, so when you're talking about the coordinate plane, the origin is always O. It could also look like this. It might say R, 90 degrees, and then maybe it says 1, 3. So then point 1, 3 is your center of rotation. Okay, those are a little bit more challenging. But of everything we're doing in your, for the sake of this lesson, we're just going to be doing origin every time. So I'm not going to throw any weird ones at you. If you had a 1, 3, you'd have to pretty much do it like we just did it. Okay, the ones around the origin are easy to do, so we're just doing it the easy way. So the nice thing about graph paper, and you actually having a piece of graph paper, and you got it on your sheet of paper here when you're doing your homework at home, you use a piece of graph paper for these. Actually, the homework assignment I got is a worksheet, so you'll have a graph drawn. Okay, is you have the ability to physically turn your graph paper. All right, so if I'm doing a 90-degree rotation, which direction am I going?
Counterclockwise.
Positive angles go counterclockwise, so it goes this way. All right, so what I want you guys to do, okay, I can turn this, only you turn your whole paper, but if you take your paper and you turn it 90 degrees that way. Yeah, perfect, all right. Okay. Now, obviously that says X, that says Y, but now this is acting like the X-axis, this is acting like the Y-axis, right? And I want you to record where A, B, C, and D went to when it turned 90 degrees counterclockwise, because that's what we're doing. So pretending this is an X-axis, this is a Y-axis, if I look at point A, I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 left, and 1, 2, 3 up. So then turn your paper back and write A prime equals negative 5, 3. Okay. Then you twist it at 90 degrees counterclockwise again, and look where B is, so that's where B prime is going to be. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So negative 7 because we went left, positive 1 because we go up to get to B. C prime, looking where C prime is, 1, 2, 3, 4 left, that's negative 4, 1, 2 down, that's negative 2, so we record negative 4, negative 2. And then D prime, we're going 1 to the right and 2 up, so D prime is positive 1, positive 2. You make the rotation physically with your hands, you turn it 90 degrees counterclockwise, and then you just identify where the coordinates are and you record them. Then you turn your paper back to normal. It should snap back to 90 degrees, but it's not doing that. Let's see. Use your imagination straight up. All right, so if I plot those 4 points, negative 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, that's A prime. And negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, that's B prime. And then I've got negative 4, negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, that's C prime. And then 1, 2, that's D prime. And then I simply connect those 4 dots with straight lines, use your straight edge to do that. So A connects to B, B connects to C, C connects to D, and D connects to A, all primes. And there's our reflection about the origin 90 degrees counterclockwise. All right? And that's how we make A prime, B prime, D prime, C prime, D prime. And notice I'm marking them as such. As I put the points down, I've got them identified over here. When I put them over here, actually in the picture, I actually identified them what they are: A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime. Make sure you're labeling all your points as you do all these transformations. Okay, then we want to do a second transformation. We want to do a second rotation. This says rotation of negative 180 degrees. A negative one goes clockwise, so we're going to be going this way this time for the second one. And the positive 90 went counterclockwise, the negative 180 goes clockwise, so we're going to be turning this way. 180 degrees is a full turn, right? So it's straight up turns to straight down, so I guess it's half a turn. The last one was a quarter turn. All right, so real quick, I'm going to group all this together so it turns together. So if I got this picture and I want to do 180 degrees clockwise, I'm going this way. So I take my paper and I turn this way so it goes upside down. All right? And again, I'm just going to identify where these points, because again, notice it says 180 degrees of A prime, B prime, C prime, D prime to make A double prime. So we're rotating the blue one 180 degrees to make the new points. So my A double prime and B double prime and C double prime and D double prime, I need points, coordinates for each of those points. Where the blue quadrilateral currently sits is the coordinates of those points, and the A double prime relates to A prime, B double prime relates to B prime, and so on and so forth. So if I look at A double prime, or A prime, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right and 3 down. B prime is at 7 right and 1 down. C prime is 4 right and 2 up. And D prime is at 1 left and 2 down. Again, if this is me doing it on my paper, you do it how you want to, but I would identify, turn it back around, write it down, come back around, or maybe have a scratch sheet of paper to record it, turn it back around, then write it down. I want the information on your paper. You are turning your paper around, so I don't know how well you guys write upside down or anything like that, but you know, I want it written well on your paper, but you're turning your paper in order to identify some stuff. So whether you turn it around, identify, turn it back around, write, turn it around, write on a scratch sheet of paper, turn around and transfer the information over, however you want to do it. Once you've done all that, go back to normal and then plot the points, coordinates that you determined. So A double prime is at 5, negative 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 3. That's A double prime. B double prime, 7, negative 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, negative 1. C double prime's at 4, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. There's C double prime. And finally, D double prime is negative 1, negative 2. That's right there. Again, identifying the points as I write them down. I don't just put dots, I actually label them what they are. And then I connect the dots with a nice lines with a ruler for you. I'm using a straight line drawing tools up here. So B to C, C to D, and D back to A. If the angle's 90, 180, 270, or 360, turning the paper works, especially if there's graph paper. If the angle's not, then you have to use a protractor. All right. If there's graph paper, I usually stick to 90, 180, 270. I wouldn't do the 0 degree rotation, that doesn't move. Anyway, 90, 180, 270 is what I would stick to if I'm using graph paper. If I've got just a picture drawn like the first one, you're using a protractor, you're using a straight edge. All right, so that's how you do this.